The Florida School Nutrition Association came into being in 1950, but long before that, from the turn of the century to 1946, when the School Lunch Act was passed, there were hungry kids in Florida and caring people figuring out how to feed them. In 1915, when a student passed out from exhaustion at J.B. Lockley School in Pensacola, Principal W.H. Crawford was shocked. She took matters into her own hands, recruiting teachers to take turns making sandwiches. In winter, she served hot cocoa and soup out of an empty office, using coals from the furnace for heat. Around the same time, Glen Oak School in St. Petersburg housed a cow to provide fresh milk to the students. In 1923, the standard charge for a student meal at Glen Oak was 5 cents. That comes out to about 76 cents in today's money. By 1946, Thelma Flanagan was in place as Florida's first state school lunch supervisor, and she is credited with starting the Florida School Food Service Association. She was the third president of FSNA, and while at the annual conference, she and 23 Florida delegates decided to organize a state association. And in 1950, at a meeting of school food service professionals at Camp Olena, the association was born. Mary Sprinkle would become the first president. As we all know, the 1950s was a time of segregation, so African American school food professionals formed their own association. In 1953, the Florida School Lunch Association held its first meeting at Bethune-Cookman College. The vision and goal for both associations was to unite school food service workers around a mission of safely and effectively feeding children, while also serving members with training and networking opportunities. Our founders knew that early school food service employees were mostly homemakers with no experience in institutional cooking, professionalism, or even working outside of the home. They needed education, training, and opportunities for networking. In that first decade, both associations grew. They planned, they held region meetings and trainings, and they collaborated with the state on lunchroom rules. For fun, they wrote the Florida School Lunch Song to the tune of the Battle Hymn of the Republic. And in 1956, FSFSA invited members of the Florida School Lunch Association to join, and the integration process began. Right from the start, association leaders made advocacy for the school lunch program and those who worked in it a high priority. In 1957, the association proposed the Florida School Lunch Act. It included a raise for workers and higher reimbursements. By 1966, the average hourly rate for school food service workers was $1.05 per hour, and the committee was still working to increase it. From early on, FSNA encouraged members to invite their legislator to lunch. According to School Food Journal, at the Gadsden County School Food Service Legislative Day, legislators had spaghetti with meat, lime pear salad, and coleslaw. Because of the importance of advocacy, FSFSA opened its first state office over Brown's Pharmacy in Tallahassee in 1962. The 2 part-time FSFSA employees were paid $2 an hour with no benefits. The first issue of FSFSA's quarterly journal came out in 1966. And even back then, we had chapter chatter. As you can see, industry partners were quick to support the new publication with advertisements like this one for dried egg products. Serving milk at room temperature was commonplace in the 1960s. Serving it cold was a marketing strategy. As we see here, buying local was an initiative in the 1970s as well. Seafood patties. Celery in a can from 1997. Canned vegetables aside, from the beginning, nutrition and health education for children was another important component of FSNA's mission. This child is getting weighed so it can be posted on his report card. The 1970s were a time of growth and prosperity for FSNA. The commemorative plates were introduced in 1973. Each president had their own plate. Along with the plates, this time period brought a new logo to the association. By the 1980s, membership was around 8,000, and FSNA built a home. To raise money for the building, FSFSA hosted a King contest, challenging contestants to raise $7 per member in their county. And the winner is Sam Jackson. The new building opened in July 1981, debt-free. The project was supposed to take 5 years, but with the help of members, it was finished in 3. Friends of the association donated beautiful artwork to fill the office, and once staff was moved in, they decided they needed a computer to improve efficiency. To raise money for it, FSFSA hosted the Miss Apple contest at the first industry seminar in 1983. 14 chapters raised a total of $23,000. This comes out to about $59,000 in today's money. Joanne Bruton of Dade County is crowned the Apple Queen. Over the next 30 years, FSNA continued to grow in membership and influence. It changed with the times, but stayed true to its mission and vision. And through it all, there was the annual conference and expo. And a brand new logo brings FSNA into the modern era. FSNA has come a long way since 1950, thanks to Thelma Flanagan, Jane Wynn, Louis Sublette, and all the state and chapter leaders who built and nurtured it. Happy 70th anniversary, FSNA. Here's to 70 more.